Hey guys, it's V here. I just wanted to kind of check in with you today and tell you a few things that are on my heart. First thing I need you to go do is go click like and the share button on this video for me. I also need you to go check out my webpage, shorttermpro.com, because I'm going to share with you some things today that are on my heart. I want to be completely transparent with you today. You're going to be like, why is he talking like this? He's supposed to be someone who's giving me advice, someone who has given me expert advice and teaching me how to do these things. And I think sometimes that's the problem. We become lifelong learners, we become lifelong processes and procedures guys, and we forget that there's a very important element that is missing with most property managers, property hosts, owners, people who are vendors, people who are cleaning or doing maintenance. Biggest problem that most of them have is they just don't care. And I can tell you this because I've been around a lot of folks in this industry. And you can see it if you spend any time looking at Facebook posts. You go look at Facebook groups where there's a lot of questions and a lot of comments about property management and host and properties and guests. And the thing is that I think sometimes we forget that the end user is the most important part of this whole thing, the guest, and that we got to care about them. We got to care about what they think. We got to care about what they say, because every property and guest has a story, and that guest is going to tell that story over and over to their friends, whether good or bad. They're going to tell that story about whether or not they thought you cared, whether or not they thought that you really legitimately had a desire to help them. And sometimes, if you've been in the industry a little while, you can get a little cynical because you know that there's scammers out there, and yes, they are out there. And yes, it's hard to differentiate between the ones who are and the ones who aren't. That doesn't mean that you can't care about every situation as if they are not a scammer. You got to care about your guest each time that they arrive to your property. I've got a freebie, as I said, you can go get about this. It kind of explains from the guest perspective what it is that they're looking for. They're just looking for a place, many times, that's clean. And if it's supposed to have good internet, it's supposed to have good internet. If it's comfortable, it's a place they can just kind of come put their feet up and watch a little TV or do whatever it is they want to do. They may want to know about things in the community. They may want to know about where all the locals eat and stay and play. And it's our job to care enough to make sure that they get that, because ultimately they write the paycheck. And when they write the paycheck, they're the boss. And if you don't care about the boss, you're not going to be working very long. Yes, we work for owners. Yes, we work for other people. If you're a vendor, if you're someone who is in property management or co-hosting or whatever, you do work for an owner. You work for an investor many times. Maybe you own your own property and you work for yourself. If you don't care enough about yourself and about your property, if you're just someone who self-manages, you don't care about your guest, I say get out of this business quickly. Run. Do not walk. Get out of it today. Because honestly, if you're not happy right now and you've been in this business 6 or 8 months, you're not going to be happy in a year or two when you just add more and more things to your list. I see times all the time on Facebook and social media where people are asking for advice. And what I see most people do is I see most people give them answers that don't have anything to do with about caring about the guest or caring about the property or caring about the people that they represent and the people that they help. So I'm asking you today to do what I do personally in my business. I truly do care about you as a person. And you can say, well, you don't know me. How do you care about me? Well, I know, because I know where you're at right now, because I was there at one point. You may be a more experienced guy, and I probably could say to you, I still care about you, and I still understand that you've probably experienced things that I've not experienced. But I still care, because I care enough to ask you, just like I did this morning. I have a situation going on, a problem I've got going on, and I have experts around me that I call and I get advice from, because I care enough to know that sometimes the first answer is not the best answer. Sometimes it's the third, fourth, fifth, 10th answer that you get from somebody who's in the industry or somebody who knows a little bit about what's going on or knows a little bit more about something. Because people really don't care what you know until they know you care. I may have said that wrong, but you understand what I mean. And what I mean by that is all the knowledge in the world, all the systems in the world, all the processes in the world, all of the things that we bring to the table as experienced hosts is not important to the guest. They could care less if you got 20 years of experience in this industry or 30. they could care less if you've been doing this a day. If they genuinely felt that you cared, that you very much thought about their needs and put their needs ahead of maybe even your own needs. I know that I, like many of you, have worked holidays. I have worked vacation time. You know, I've been with people 2 o'clock in the morning fixing something in the past, you know, because that's what we do. Because sometimes if you don't care, you're just going to blow it off and make sure that no one finds out. You know, you may get a bad review and you just say, well, what should I learn from this? And you might be the person that says, well, I learned that I'm still good and they suck. You know, but that's not the way we should look at it. We should always be careful enough and caring enough to know that we need to always expand and we always need to grow. And you know, when I give you a personal opinion here and a personal thought, I'm going to share something personal with you. You know, my properties that I take care of and I host for my owners, I walk them at least twice a month. And if I don't get to them at least twice a month, I feel like as if I'm missing out on something. I'm missing something. There's a piece that's missing because I care. You know, I can tell you the squeaky boards in most of my properties. I can tell you like something that's a pain point in some of them. You know, I go and I address them as best I can. I'll have folks around me help me address them. But I care enough to know that if someone were to send me a request in the middle of the night and say, hey, this thing is not working properly or this, that, you know, either it broke recently or it broke since the last time I was there, but I genuinely care about making sure that I get it fixed for them quickly. You know, you need to care about your vendors. You know, if you're writing paychecks to vendors, if you're taking care of your vendors, you know, they're your boots on the ground. They are your eyes and ears in your business. You know, if you're paying a co-host or you're paying a property manager, you know, you need to care about them. Because if you don't care about them, somebody else will. Because good people are hard to find. When you find a good cleaner, a good maintenance guy, you find someone out there who can take good care of you, pay them what they're worth, listen to them, and as they become a trusted advisor for you, make sure that you understand that sometimes they're going to break bad news to you. Sometimes they're not going to tell you what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear because they care enough to let you know that there was a problem either with a guest, a problem with your property, you know, a problem with something that they need your help with. You know, they may be a problem themselves and they need to know how to get out of their own way. And sometimes they will ask you questions about how do you feel about certain things or how are we relating together. You know, my owners have my personal cell phone. They can call me anytime. And honestly, sometimes it's a little weird because I'll hear my phone buzz at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'll check it just because I care. Not because I have to, because I have folks that help me take care of things sometimes at night. But if an owner wants to get a hold of me, I was on vacation last week and I talked to every owner that I represent as a co-host. I'm not saying, oh, I'm better than everybody else, but there were some things that needed to be handled. There were some conversations that I needed to have, and I had them because I care, and you should care. And I want you to know that if you want to get better at this industry, don't start with your brain. Don't sit down and take notes and don't pay every guru out there. There's about 1,000, 1,500 of them now out there that are offering advice and they're offering to sell you on arbitrage and they're offering to sell you on all this other stuff. But what they're forgetting is the most important piece of the equation. If you don't know how to care about people and know how to take care of people, then none of this makes any sense and you're not going to make money and you're not going to be in this industry very long. So today, take my advice, and if you're in this industry and you don't care, either start caring or get out. And number two, if you're in this industry and you don't know what you're doing, there are guys like me out there that'll help you. But we got to know that you care. You know, I'll take on certain properties just because I like the owner. I'll turn down properties because I don't like the owner, because I don't think they care enough. And sometimes people are just shopping you for a price. Sometimes people are just shopping you for, for advice. And that's okay, because sometimes advice is free, but you get what you pay for. So remember that. If you're asking somebody to give you something and you really don't care about them and you don't really care about how the process works and everything as an owner and investor or a property manager, if you just don't really care, then understand that it'll eventually show up. It's going to show up in social media. It's going to show up in a review. It's going to show up in the next time that you're trying to renew that contract with an owner. It's going to show up somehow, somewhere, some way. So it's better to address things as you go and truly care about what you do. Guys, again, I have a freebie out there. It's on shorttermpro.com. Go like this video and share it with your friends. Make sure that you really do care about what you do today and who you're with and what you do. And make sure that you care about everybody around you so much that it becomes infective. And it becomes something that when people see you, they're like, dude, this is somebody I can trust. This is somebody I can rely on. This is someone who's going to go the extra mile to make sure that my guest and my property and my vendors and my situation is going to be taken care of. Guys, I'm V. That's my 2 cents today. That's my thoughts today. And I'm out.